Speaking of help, Shane McMahon. I've said this many times. I like Shane. Shane is my favorite McMahon. Shane's a heck of a guy. Balls of steel. What an athlete. Nice guy. Conversational. You know, he really is. He comes off as very nice. He got a nice family. Nice. I met his kids a few years ago. I was down there for WrestleMania, the Hall of Fame thing. But goddamn, he wanted to buy the UFC 20 years ago before Dana White put the Fertitta brothers together to do it. I've told you this, right? Because I
actually heard this from Bob Meyerowitz, so I heard it from the other side. Yeah,
he always liked the idea of the shoot fighting, and that's why people blister him because of his punches, and they are rotten. But he's trying to do the boxing fighting thing, right? It looks, but he's always had the idea that this real shit will sell, but he just needs help in executing it. And I don't know why. As a matter of fact, I wrote the notes that I wrote on this thing. I will try to explain at the top what I think of. What is it, the Underground Club or Raw Underground or the Fight Club or
Raw Underground?
Who was in this movie?
Yeah,
it's been so long ago. I can't remember who was in the movie.
There were several people in there that I did not recognize, and then of course there were some recognizable names.
No, I mean in the movie, the Fight Club. This is what they stole it from, right? Fucking movie's 20 years old.
Brad Pitt, Ed Norton,
Brad
Meatloaf.
Pitt, yeah. That's what I was thinking of, Brad Pitt. Blah blah blah. But anyway, that's what it's based on, right? Because I don't even remember seeing the movie. It's been 20 fucking years. But I get the vibe, and I've seen it in the past. I get the vibe that that's the thing. They go to the Underground Fight Club. That's what they're trying to do here, right?
I think it's that
with dancing girls.
I think it's part that, and I think clearly it's been influenced a bit by. There were some indie shows run. I think it was called Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. I saw some clips of a while back where it was shoot-ish matches in a ring with no ropes, which is the exact look of this.
Okay, but and I guarantee you if Josh Barnett did it, it probably looked a whole lot fucking more real, to be honest.
It looked a lot better than this, yes.
But this was like, and I guarantee you Vince chimed in, well, we got to have dancing girls, pal. That's good shit. Because he was the most important thing to him on Shotgun Saturday Night, 3 years ago, were the dancing girls in the cages at the goddamn, what was that nightclub up there in New York? They did the first Webster Hall. Why do I know that? We had to go down there and do a site survey. Me and Bruce and Vince and everything. And I'm like, how the fuck are we going to have wrestling in this dark fucking small and the catacombs and the catwalks and everything? I'm like, what the fuck's a wrestling show going to look like in here? And I found out. But And of course, Shitstain loves the whole dancing girl thing. Didn't he have dancing girls in cages in fucking the early days of TNA?
I didn't watch the early days of TNA, but it sounds right.
Yeah, well, I was hearing written descriptions of it, along with midgets beating off in trash cans or whatever. That was what he was known for, was dancing girls in the cages. And I'm not kidding. In the early days of TNA, Shitstain did that. The point is, all people named Vince apparently love the dancing girls in the cages, but in this case, they cut the fucking dancing. They're in a warehouse with regular lighting, and just a bunch of junk everywhere, and people beating on the ring with no ropes. And then all of a sudden, there's a shot of the dancing girls in what looks like a club under purple lights for 2 seconds, for no apparent. And they're dancing even though there's no music playing. They're just gyrating and writhing. They look sort of like fucking Kenny Olivier on his way to the fucking ring, gesticulating and finger pointing, except they looked a little better than Olivier, I must honestly admit. So I saw the highlights of this. I didn't watch it as it happened. But Shane was all jacked up at the start of the thing, and I was hoping he'd calm down instead of trying to do running commentary over the whole thing, which he did. Toward the end of it, as it went on, he calmed down a little bit, and then the other guys were talking. But they couldn't do this for Dan Severn. or Ken Shamrock or Kurt Angle or Steve Blackman, but they do it for dabba-kato? The fuck was it? And then that's what I was.
That name has been stuck in my head ever since I watched it.
dabba-kato. And he looked like, the fucking redheaded stepchild of the Samoan family, where he kind of looked like a Samoan, but he didn't. Why did they go out of their way? This is my thought on this concept. Raw Underground, where anything can happen and there's no rules and it's so dangerous.
Did you see how the matches end?
Well, yes, but as soon as somebody gets knocked down, oh shit, stop it. There's no rules and this is dangerous, but goddamn, we don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah, Shane just gets in there and goes, that's enough. That's it.
That's enough. He's had enough. I've seen guys fucking fly off the goddamn Titantron through tables head first on Raw, and they get up and continue the match, but this guy takes a knee to the head and fucking he's down for a second, and Shane says, no, that's enough. But that's the thing. The WWE as a company, why do they go out of their way to tell us it's all fake and it's all entertainment and it's all scripted and they're playing characters and all the other things they say? And then every time they try to juice things up or get interest or sell tickets or plug a big pay-per-view back in the day, or now it's just get the ratings up for the rights fees or whatever, they try to do something that's purportedly real because everybody knows that will sell more tickets. And then they don't know how to make it look real when there are ways that you can make this shit look real. So that is why the logic of this whole, not only the whole industry now, but the WWE in specific drives me completely batshit bonkers out of my fucking mind. They go out of their way to tell us it's fake, except when they need to draw money. And then they, along with everybody else, acknowledge and recognize that the things that draw money are the things that people believe are real. So they try to do worked real shit and don't make it look real. Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you are.
So we now know what real MMA looks like. And they have guys, as we will see in a second, that have competed in real MMA. I'm not going to shit on this whole thing because there's a positive to this I'll get to in a second. But they came back from one break, and Shane welcomed us back, and the girls were mad at each other. The dancing girls who are dancing even though there's no music, just a little pulse in the background. Boom, 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 boom. Sort of like the telltale heart. Maybe the fucking guy's buried under the warehouse. And then fucking Shane says maybe the girls can fight next week. And I guarantee you that'll never be referred to again. And then Erica the Viking Raiders beats somebody up. But then here comes MVP and the Hurt Business. Okay. MVP did a good promo job here. I like the Hurt Business. That's kind of a cool name for his little stable. They come in and take over the show that's been on the air for 10 fucking minutes. Did you notice this? And then Shane said, okay, we're going to come in and fucking radically take over this show that has never been seen before 10 minutes ago, but now we're going to take it over. Okay. But then Bobby Lashley beats the shit out of a guy, which is good because Lashley's the real deal. And I can't believe it's been 15 years since he was in OVW. And he had already had an MMA career and been in the service by then. So I'm thinking he's in early to mid 40s and looks like $1 million. So
how old is Shelton?
I'm going to get to that. Then MVP takes his jacket off, and then more girls. Every time someone I guess they want to cover cuts, they just do a cutaway, a B-roll, more girls. They jerk the littlest guy in, and MVP beats him up. That was pretty good. And then he introduced Shelton Benjamin. I will now spend 5 minutes or so raving about Shelton Benjamin and how that they've taken this long to figure out how to do something with this fucking guy, or why to do something, or just to do something. Shelton was in OVW with Brock. He came in 2001, and he had already graduated college and been assistant wrestling coach at Minnesota, which is he was one of Brock's coaches. And so I can't remember how old Shelton is, but he's every bit of 45, and he looks as good as he ever did. And it's not bullshit when other people have said, Jim Ross has said, other people have said Shelton, pretty much any time he's ever been in the WWE locker room, he was the best athlete there. The best all-around pure by the definition of the word athlete, he's a better athlete than Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's a physical fucking freak, and he used that size and the way that he could move it. But his wrestling technique was not as good as Shelton's, and nobody's cardio as good as Shelton's, and Shelton's balance. Plus, Shelton was a wrestling fan from South Carolina, Orangeburg, and grew up watching the biggest stars in the business as a fan, and he knew what shit was supposed to look like, and he was brilliant instantly. Which is why I teamed him and Brock up. Not only could we tell the story about them being teammates and et cetera at Minnesota, but also because somebody had to have the rest of the match so that Brock could get a tag and come in and make a comeback, because he was drizzling fucking boring shits when he first got started. But Shelton had something, and he could also sell believably. He never worked out. He came to every wrestling practice. You couldn't blow him up. But he ate McDonald's and junk and, didn't do any type of workout and was ripped naturally and in that shape. And I remember, God, it's been less than 10 years ago, that I as a matter of fact, when he was in Ring of Honor, which was like 8 years ago, he came to me, he said, I'm getting old. Started having to work out once in a while. He's a fucking freak, but his work has always been tremendous, and what a great guy. The only flaw in his game was his promos, which, to be honest, now, viewing with today's eyes, when everybody just recites monotone bullshit that they've rehearsed, Shelton's Mr. Personality. His promos automatically look 5 times better 15 years later because everybody else is so much worse. But anyway, he goozled a big guy, and then they all beat up everybody in the gym, and the camera work did make me ill because they're doing all the fucking herky-jerky stuff. And Shane did an awkward close, more girls, and then MVP said the last line, we're the Hurt Business, and business is good. Okay. I'll take anything that gets Shelton Benjamin a fucking top spot in a wrestling promotion. I'll fucking go along with it. But there's so many easier ways, especially with some of the talent involved, including Lashley and Shelton, that are legitimate. They're just, you need a better host than Shane. Shane's not a TV host. I love the guy. The guy's a great guy. He's very intelligent. It's just some things some people can't do, and Shane is not a TV host. He's not smooth. He's not natural, and it comes off as hokey because some of the ways that he phrases things. Well, there's no rules. Anything can happen. We can do this or that or whatever. It was local TV, and they did too much gaga at the start before they brought the shooters in. The shooter shit looked better, but still they don't have to cut so quick with these guys. I've watched Dan Severn. I've watched Ken Shamrock. I've watched a number of guys work shoots that you could shoot with one camera and you couldn't see through it. And for the purposes, and it doesn't need to be 20 minutes long, that would be boring, but for the purpose of this exercise, to have these guys who could really do it go in and stretch somebody and sugar them in a fucking minute and just concentrate on what they're doing instead of the fucking artsy-fartsy camera bullshit would make it look more legitimate. And you could have the strippers or the dancers or whatever. They were PG rated. I've never seen strippers so fucking covered up. So I don't know what they were, but they didn't need to be there, and it distracted. And why did they have purple light, but everybody else was just standing in a warehouse? It's the TV end. The TV studio up there gets a hold of things, tries to dress it up with their fucking ideas that are sometimes better left unsaid. One person Dusty Rhodes, Eddie Graham, Bill Watts. Fucking somebody could have walked in there and told me and told everybody this is exactly the way we're going to do this, exactly the way we're going to shoot this. You're not going to be able to see any holes in it, and these guys are going to get over. But when you let the TV studio do their thing and fucking somebody else chimes in, and there'll be dancing girls. Who gives a fuck? If they're not naked doing a goddamn Tijuana donkey dildo show, I don't give a fuck, because I can see that for free on the internet. Don't get in the way of my fucking wrestling. Anyway, that's so I hope to fuck that they will use this to just get the hurt business in the ring somewhere and start hurting people that we know who the fuck they are, instead of this off-brand Fight Club fucking blood sport rip-off, whatever the fuck it is.
What do you think about the fact that this apparently is a response to less people watching Raw than ever before, that they're losing viewers each and every week? They saw this as a response to get attention. What do you think of that?
That shows how fucking lost they are. This was not going to get attention unless it was completely different and believable and legitimate. And haven't they been doing one of the McMahon offspring comes in and tries to take over the company for the past 25 years now? And I'm not knocking Shane, but do you believe that he's suddenly being a subversive and gonna fucking do all that? And it was still obviously not real. This was not done like a sport. It was done like a movie. They keep trying to do things that are supposedly real to get attention, but they don't do them where people would believe them. People ain't gonna, if you just interrupt Raw with, oh, and here's a movie. Nobody's gonna give a shit either, because they don't watch Raw to watch a movie. It doesn't make sense. And it wouldn't be that hard to do something legitimate. The fucking snake pit, there's the goddamn gimmick. The snake pit match that they did with Riddle and fucking Whoosy-Wutsy. On NXT, we said Thatcher. That was a Thatcher. Thank you. That was an updated gimmick that's perfect for guys with MMA backgrounds. It's like an updated Hell in a Cell thing. It's not so stupid like the Elimination Chamber with the plexiglass panes and the multiple people and a hat on a hat. It's two fucking badasses can go in this thing and use the contraption. They can't get in or out, but they can use it in a variety of ways. We said that was cool. Why is that not Raw Underground instead of a ripoff of, I guarantee you nobody named McMahon watched anything that Josh Barnett did or any other pro wrestling event from anywhere. Maybe some of the fucking comedy writers saw it, and being that they're not athletes themselves, nor do they have any idea how to fucking do anything related to a shoot, they didn't grasp all of it and just took away certain aspects of it. But nobody named McMahon watched anything of any kind, pro wrestling related, Josh Barnett or otherwise, to do this. They're doing a movie. And that ain't it.